always forget this. So what if I had a sample like you guys have on there, right? That's a sample, right? You might notice something different about the formula. Let me see if you get this idea. All right, here's the quick way to look at that. Look at the formula that you got to use for the standard deviation. And in fact, notice what kind of letter does it use? A regular one, S, right? Because it's a sample now, so I'm not going to use Greek letters. But what's the difference in the formula?
N minus 1.
Yeah, okay. All right. So one level of understanding is I'm dividing by a little less to cover for the fact that it's just a sample. So that's a little adjustment for it being a sample. Now let me get a little deeper into it. Okay. There's an average age in this room, correct? There is. It just is. All right, now it's changed that. There's an average age in this room. If I take two rows and average their ages, will it be the same as the average age in the room? There's a chance, but it's a very unbelievably small. I'll put a lot of money, and I'm a teacher, so I don't have much. I'll put a lot of money on any difference. You guys with me? So maybe these guys just happen to be younger than everybody. Right? You guys with me? So would all of their ages be closer to their average, or would they be further away compared to the average of everybody? So would these guys' ages be closer to their average or closer to the average of everybody? Closer to their own average, right? Does that just make sense? So if I calculate the standard deviation for a sample, the same way I do for a population, it's always going to seem to be smaller than it should be, because they are all closer to their own average. So how do I make something bigger? I divide by less. So if I divide, instead of n, if I divide by n minus 1, I make it become a little bigger. So that's still not a complete reason why it's frickin' n minus 1. But there's a lot of stuff, math stuff that went in the background of this that we might not all be able to handle of why it's exactly n minus 1. That n minus 1 is going to come up later this semester. And let me go, everybody decent with this? So this is the first little place that we see. If I have a population versus a sample, it changes the formula a bit. That's going to happen many times this semester. Right? So you have to first figure out, am I telling with a population or a sample? It's going to tell me which formula to use. Now let me say one more thing about n minus 1. Before you guys... Okay, now stay with me. This is kind of cool. If I knew that three numbers average to be 10, do you know anything about any of the numbers? If three numbers average to be 10, do you know anything about any of the numbers individually? No. But you should know what they add to be. If three numbers average to be 10, they have to add to be what? 30. Big ass, right? Because how do you find the average? 30 divided by 3 is what makes 10. So they have to add to be 30. So watch. So if I have three numbers that average to be 10, how many of them can I just make shit up for before I have to get serious? 2 of them. Because let's say I make the first one 8, and I make the next one 5. See, I just totally out of nowhere. But now I got to stop and go, oh shit, what are these numbers supposed to do? Like you just said, they have to add to be 30. So what's the last one got to be? 17. Now these guys would average to be 30. So how much freedom did I have? There were 3 spots, but how many spots did I have freedom with? So this is called the degrees of freedom. You're going to see this later this semester. So n minus 1 is actually kind of a huge player in statistics. Does that make any sense? That actually is almost why we call it, well actually that's basically exactly why we call it degrees of freedom. How free am I to make shit up until I got to get serious? Okay, wow. So you're going to be dealing with this formula on your sheet. Why is it n minus 1? The quick thing is, it's an adjustment because it's just a poor little sample. All right, I'll shut up now. Go ahead and try that out.